Hey, welcome to JG3 Reviews. My name is James, and I review pens, and most especially fountain pens. In fact, so far, all fountain pens, but I got some other stuff coming. What I have today is a big purple pen. I wanted a purple pen because that's our school colors here in Early, and it's also, I have a lot of family that went to Abilene Christian University, and that's Big Purple is the band that my mom was in when she was in college. So I kind of liked it. I didn't have a purple pen, and I saw this and I thought, you know what, that looks pretty cool. It also gave me an excuse because I've really been wanting a vacuum-filled fountain pen. It's a neat mechanism, and as you may have seen, if you've already seen some of the other videos, I like the mechanics of fountain pens. That's part of it. And this one is something different from what I have. And I had actually been looking at a TWSBI Vac Mini, and I really wanted that pen. However, while I was looking, I thought, you know, for the price of a TWSBI Mini Vac pen, I could have a TWSBI Eco, or Eco, however you want to say that. I could have a TWSBI Go, and I could have this, which is a vac-filled pen. Why don't I get 3 pens for the price of 1? So that's what I did. If I'm anything, I'm kind of a cheapskate sometimes, so those kind of decisions happen. So that's what I did, and I wanted to share this pen with you in a review. 1, because it's what I do, and 2, because this is a different kind of a fill mechanism than the pens that I've reviewed so far. And I've not even filled this pen. So as we go through this review, I'm going to show you how it fills, and the writing impression will be a first impression. I have a couple of other pens that I'll show you that I think this is going to be similar to, but not exactly the same as. So let's turn the camera around and let's look and see how this pen is made. We'll look at the design and closer look at that mechanism, and we'll see, of course, the most important part, how does the pen actually write? Let's turn that camera around. Okay, so here is the Wing Sung 3013. You can see there's a little moisture buildup in that. We'll see if that causes problems in the long run or not. But this is a vacuum-filled pen, similar to the TWSBI Mini Vac, which I don't have, as I mentioned, so I can't speak to that pen so much. I have the Eco, and it's similar in size to that pen. The design I like overall. It has a nice diamond facet finish to the cap. You can see that there as I turn the pen, and I think that looks good. It's, of course, a clear purple pen. It's a little bit darker than it looks here on the video, and it's actually, I really kind of like it. Nice purple. When you open it up, it is, you can see there, that's kind of more translucent. It's not quite transparent on the feed, but it is a plastic barrel, plastic section, and a nice looking nib. We'll see how it writes in a moment, but a nice looking fine nib from Wing Sung there. And the way this pen works, I'll actually fill it, we'll test that here in just a second, is that you would unscrew this. Boy, I tightened that a little too much a minute ago. You unscrew this, and it takes several turns, and then you pull it back, and then you push it forward. This is in the ink bottle. You push it forward, and right as you heard the click, as it clicks, it will then pull the ink into the barrel. So we'll see how that works here in a second. But in terms of appearance and design overall, I really like it. The quality is not up to the same standards, say, as this TWSBI Eco. Now that's understandable. You pay 8 to 10 times the price for a TWSBI that you do for a Wing Sung. Now the difference in what you get for that is quality of the parts inside, and I experience with both now is that you are getting higher quality components. That's not just talk. You have support. This comes with a warranty, and I've not had to use it, but those who have had good experience with TWSBI, standing by their pens and standing by their warranty. And so you are paying for, you're paying more for the pen, but you're getting more with it. So I don't think that it's outlandish. You know, they are more expensive. And if you watched my last video, in general, I don't like spending much on plastic pens, and TWSBIs are mostly plastic. However, it is of a high quality. The components are high quality. The warranty is good. They stand by their product, and I think you are actually getting something. I haven't reviewed that yet. I need to review that and my TWSBI Go sometime here soon. But I have that there for comparison in terms of quality and price and size and things like that. And those are great pens. I have also here the Wingsung, I almost called it a TWSBI, it is not. The Wingsung 3008, which is a different type of filling mechanism. It's typical, like the TWSBI Eco, it's that screw-down piston instead. But this pen, I've already reviewed it. You can go back and check that out, and I'll put a link to it up here. It has actually grown on me. When I first got it, I liked it. But the more I've used it, I tell you, this pen is a tremendous value, and I at least the one that I've got, maybe you've got a different experience, but the one I've got, I love that pen. It's great. I keep it at the office all the time. Holds a lot of ink, and if someone steals this off my desk, and I'm a minister at a church, this is probably not going to happen, and I don't have pens go missing often, but it happens every now and then. You know, somebody picks up a pen, borrows it, and doesn't put it back. If this one disappears off my desk, that's not so much a loss at $3. I'm not leaving that one on my desk. So anyway, back to the 3013. This pen, this purple color, I really, really like it. I like the design overall. The only issue I have just on appearances and fit and finish with the pen is this. They always put their name, the logo etched in Chinese, Wingsung, which I understand to mean lives forever or live forever. It's crooked. See the pen? Or the clip, I mean? The clip should come down right in the middle of that logo, and that's going to drive me nuts. I just won't look at it, hopefully, too often, but I like things to be symmetrical, and that is far from it. So this is the only thing. And just as I was talking about fit and finish and things on the TWSBI, you notice that is lined up symmetrically and a little bit higher quality etching as well. So there's that. Doesn't affect the function of the pen. It doesn't even affect, honestly, whether or not I like the pen overall. But when I turn it like that, honestly, drives me a little crazy. That's me, and that's a fit and finish issue. If I had a company and I was selling a product, we'd be stopping and fixing that before we shipped those out anymore. So that's just something you kind of understand with Wingsung. They're quality, they're good quality overall, but quality control, catching little mistakes like that during production doesn't always happen. So we'll see how the mechanism works and how it fills here in a second, but the design of the pen I do like. And in fact, let's go ahead and fill this pen and see how that mechanism works. Okay, so what you're going to do first is unscrew that cap. We'll put this down in the bottle so that we can get that ink, and then you pull up, and then you push this down, and when you push down, well, all of a sudden you'll hear a click and it fills. Did you see that? Isn't that cool? Okay, so maybe I'm a little bit of a pen junkie on that just pleases me as much as it does. That's just really cool. Like I said, for me, fountain pens, part of the appeal is the mechanical side of the pen. And you can see it holds a lot of ink. And of course, that was very easy to fill, and you get a lot in just that one mechanism. So we'll see how this pen writes. Okay, so one thing about this pen is that it doesn't cap. I usually post. I usually like to have the cap on and have it posted. Some pens, especially lighter plastic pens, I feel like it gives it a little bit better weight to it. This is not the lightest plastic pen at all. It seems, I don't have a scale handy, it seems a little bit heavier than the TWSBI. In fact, it seemed heavier than the TWSBI's partially full, half full, and this one is, when it was empty, still felt a little bit heavier than that. So that gives you a little bit of that. But unposted, I think it's a nice balance, especially filled with ink. I think it feels good in the hand. So the diameter of the section is nice. That is not too thin or too thick. It's kind of a Goldilocks in between sort of a thing. So I like that. So this is Wingsung 3013, and this one is a fine nib, and it is a vacuum-filled pen. This is a Noodler's ink. And it's that familiar midnight blue, if you've watched my other reviews. I like Noodler's ink, just in general. And I like that when you buy a bottle of their ink, you get a lot of ink, and they don't cheap out. When you buy this thing, man, that ink is filled right up to the edge. So you got to be careful opening it the first time. Don't have that bottle tilted. Have it on a stable place. But that's great. I love that. They're good company. Make good ink. You can see there, the flow is pretty good. That's a fine nib, and I think it writes a nice clean line. It has good feedback. It's not draggy and it's not scratchy. You may hear when I write, the microphone may be picking that up, but it's not a scratchy nib, not buttery smooth. Okay, you're going to find better nibs out there, but you would expect that. I only paid a few bucks for this pen, but good feedback, and I think it's writing well. I'll do numbers because I think it gives you a great variety of movements, and that's why I like to do those. And so it helps me to see, I think sometimes more than writing in script even, how a pen writes. And I think that looks good. I think that's nice and clean, and that's partly a tribute to the ink, but the ink can only perform as well as the nib, and I think that's doing a good job. And I like how it writes. It feels good in the hand. It's a nice weight. I think that's good. Let's see here. Now, I am terrible at those. Wow. There, that's a little bit better. Do a few of those so you can see whether or not it keeps up. I haven't had many pens that don't, but every now and then you do. Do a little smear for you. Some of you like to know how wet that is, and that gives you some idea of that. So overall, how does it write? I think it writes well. It writes better than I do, and so do most pens. So I think that's good. So would I recommend this pen? I would. I think I would. Here's the deal. It's a great value. It writes well. I know this is not a long writing sample, but it writes well. It feels good in the hand. My experience with this pen, this Wingsung, the 3008, has been quite good. And on first impressions, this actually makes a better impression on me in terms of how it's made, with the exception of that asymmetrical logo, which is hardly the biggest deal. I can't fix the logo because it's put on there so well. Yeah, I would recommend the pen, with the caveat that this is a first impression review, and so long-term questions remain to be seen, and if anything goes wrong in the long term, I'll come back and do a short update. But I said that about the Wingsung 3008, and I have had 0 problems with this pen, and it has really grown on me. And in fact, even though I know the TWSBI is better made, there are times when I just grab this one instead. It writes well. It feels good in the hand. It actually is a nice looking pen, and I have a feeling this one is going to be the same way. The difference would be if something goes wrong with one of these two pens, I will just have to either toss it or replace it with another one for a few bucks. If something goes wrong with this pen, I have a warranty to call on, which I do really appreciate. And looking at the components, I think it's actually less likely anything will go wrong. But, I can also buy 8 of these for the price of that TWSBI. So there's that. So would I recommend it? Yes, I would. And it's a fun pen. It's a good looking pen. I love the color. Even though generally not a purple guy, I like that purple. And there are plenty of other colors that you can find as well. So I would encourage you. You want a cool demonstrator with a different mechanism that holds a lot of ink? Grab you a Wingsung 3013 and give it a shot. And if you have one already and you want to sing its praises, or maybe you're more in mourning over your purchase, share that in the comments below, and like and subscribe, and we'll see you again with another pen review in the next few days. God bless you, and have a great week.